All right, folks, Lone Wolf Customs here. Y'all seen the video already telling you about the new project. Well, this is the new project. Now, bear with me before you start blowing up the comments down below. This is a 72 3/4 ton Dodge truck frame. Got all its front suspension, and this looks like it's a massive freaking project. And really, it sort of is, but it ain't. The only reason I'm doing this instead of buying a wrecker is I've looked into that. The best deal I can find on wreckers are around $3,000, which I don't have. And then they're in such rough shape that I would end up having to easily spend another $3,000 or more just to make it functional. Not even right, just making it functional where everything works so I can use it. Instead of wasting, $6,000 plus, I'm gonna take what I have. Now, it's a 72 3/4 ton Dodge pickup truck frame, long bed. The end's been bobbed, and there's the ends, which I'll tell you eventually where they go. This is a boom pole that my stepdad built way before I was even born, with an old hand crank winch. This winch is going on the wrecker. Chances are lots of bits and pieces of this is going to go into the wrecker. So let me show you more of the parts. This is a 1972 ton Ford frame. I've already been working on it, as you see with the cuts and everything. This would have went on back and everything. For Christmas, I got an oxyacetylene torch, which of course, I'm using it with propane, but that's beside the point. Through all these dang weeds, because I've had this shit for a while. I've been accumulating these parts for a while to build this. But this rear end is going in the Dodge truck frame, the 72 frame. And my bars and stuff are coming out of this. Let me show you more. This is a 1978 Dodge truck cab. Originally was a half ton. It's got a good title. Right now it's just full of crap. And the dash is busted all to pieces, but I have all those replacement parts. I also have hood, fenders, cowl panels, radiator support. I have all the bits and pieces to put this thing together. But of course, no frame. So this is going to go on the frame and all these components. All right, this is a 1972 360, which, unless it's fucked from sitting, it's going in the truck. And there's a Bulldog 4-speed back there and underneath all these damn weeds. Damn vines freaking took over my engine. And it's not been sitting here out in the weather. It's been wrapped up in this freaking big rubber mat. And behind me was a 1941 Dodge truck frame, which had already been scavenged some parts out of it, so it really wasn't repairable. But you see, I've been working with the torch. And that is parts of the wrecker. Let me jump back down there and I'll tell you more about the plan. All right. See if I can make this as clear as mud. Right about here is the back of the cab. At that point, this piece here, and there's another one over there, is going to be going vertically up. These are off the Ford. We're going to attach there and come up. They're going to be fish plated there. There's another piece of the Ford I haven't cut yet. It goes across, and it's going to have triangle braces and be fish plated over and all that, along with a piece of that frame, technically two pieces. That's also pieces of the wrecker. It's going to go up from the top corner down to triangle it. It should be extremely strong, shouldn't have a single issue with it. These, there and over there, are the boom pieces. Those are the 41 truck frame. This one over here has already been cleaned up. This one I've still got to clean up. But these pieces that were bobbed off the ass of the frame a while back, when I started figuring this project, are going to go on the inside of the frame. Hole punch through it, a tube, mount it, and then we'll do the same thing on these. I'm going to plate it on both, I have it plated on both sides, put a tube, and then a big ass pin's going through both ends. It'll probably come up roughly a footish, and then it'll be cut and bent. The bend is where this side is going to come in, and this side is going to come in to go up to the front. This piece is part of the Ford. At that bend point is going to go across the boom. Then I don't have the material. I'm going to have to get it. I'm going to get probably a square tube, depends on what I can find, to go from the cross brace all the way up to the point where they both connect at the end. And inside that is going to be another tube. And I'm going to punch a hole through the thing so I can pin it in multiple places, because I want this thing to be able to telescopic. So I want to be able to have it all the way pushed in when towing a vehicle, or be able to push it way out to be able to pull engines, cherry picking with it. The winch, it's on that, is going to get mounted on probably a piece of the Ford frame across here, mounted to it, and I'll have to punch a hole and whatnot to put the crank on the outside where I can move it. And then the cable is going to go up. It'll come down, run through basically a snatch block, and then go back up, which will decrease the actual work that I have to do with that. That's gear reduction anyways. Plus that should make it where I can pick up something like a 3/4 ton truck or something without a major issue. If not, I'll gear reduction it more. The Ford rear end will be going in this, which I have to cut the spring perches and move them out 1 inch on either side, because Fords are narrower than Dodges. And the big springs are going on here and all that, and I'll be attaching that system. Another piece of the Ford frame, hopefully I have, it's going to go across the ass, which the receiver hitch is going to be mounted into, plus the mounting points for the triangle setup that comes back here with the outer pivot for the strap, the bumper strap setup to, you know, keep the car off my bumper and be able to pick the front end up and all that. If you paid attention to my new project video about this, then, you know, you've seen in the picture some of the strap setups and shit. That 360 motor will go in here with the 4-speed. Cab, of course, go here. Front clip goes here. I'll probably end up finding or building a front bumper. Probably end up building one, something that I can put some extra weight in so it won't pick up, which honestly, the way this is designed, it shouldn't pick up. We'll have a second cable system, comes out to the boom. It gives being able to lower and raise the boom. So I'll be telescoping, I'll be able to lift and raise the boom, I'll be able to winch. You know, lots of little details, lots of little pieces. It's all in my head. I've gotten some papers I've drew and doodled on, wrote stuff down and everything, but trust me, I know what I'm looking at. I know what I'm doing. It's just a matter of placing metal together, really. The only big question mark is I don't have a welder. I have the 110 welder, which I wouldn't trust to actually put this thing together. So the best it's going to do is maybe tack it. Tack the pieces in place and then use what I'm hoping to get in the next little while, a 220 stick welder to be able to stick weld this whole thing together. And the reason I'm going with a stick welder is because I trust a stick welder more than a MIG. Now, people can argue with me and all that, but honestly, for the cost, for what I can do with it, a stick welder will put me where I need to be a whole lot cheaper than me going out here and spending a lot more money for a MIG. So, it is what it is. But this video is getting long. This is a rough starting point. You know, if you like it, sweet. If you don't like it, okay. But, you know, this is what's going on. By doing this, it gives me the ability to cherry picker so I can put the motor in the Mazda, and I can put the motor in the Honda, and I can do this, and I can move cars out of the garage, and all the other wonderful things that need to be done. I can put things in the garage. Right now, I have no way of doing that, and I really am tired of freaking having to ask people to use their tractor or something. It's an annoyance. Plus, if it gets damaged while I'm using it, guess who's going to have to foot the bill for it? It's a whole lot cheaper for me to build this. Now, videos on the Mazda will probably slow down because, hey, I'm building this. Because I got to have this to build that. But it is what it is. But it'll come together as soon as I get a welder. And the boom pole will be a very useful piece of equipment to pick up things like the engine and the cab and stuff and sit it on this thing. So, there it is. Bye.